Hello, hello. Welcome to Nurse Cast. So today we're going to talk about controversial discoveries of the cure for incurable diseases. I am going to be completely transparent with you. Working in healthcare, after a certain amount of time, you begin to question certain things. It's just, personally, I do believe that that's natural. I believe that once you see some of the same things over and over, you either get to a point where you're like, okay, we had to have known that this was going to happen, or why haven't we figured this out by now? Why haven't we gotten to the bottom of this yet? We've been able to come up with so many other breakthroughs. We've developed so many advancements in healthcare. We've come so far. Why are certain things still stagnant? These questions, these internal wars, for lack of a better word, so to speak, whatever you want to call it, they arise from taking care of patients who, in your heart of hearts and your soul of souls, you can't help but think, dang, this person doesn't deserve this. Now, it's also important to understand that diseases don't wake up every morning and decide, I'm going to choose the nicest person to harm. I'm going to choose the nicest and kindest and sweetest person to upset or to turn their life upside down. Yes. I understand life is gonna life. But it doesn't take away from the fact that we are human and we are caring for others, and that amidst a very unfortunate situation, you've had this beautiful opportunity to come in contact and to care for somebody who genuinely seems to have a beautiful heart and mind and intentions, and you think, they're really suffering. They have a beautiful outlook, a positive perspective, a very open mind, and they're incredibly vulnerable. They don't deserve this. And you find yourself thinking it would be so beautiful to have the cure for this horrible disease. You know, sometimes you just can't help but get invested. So I'm saying all of this to say that on the social medias, I did see that there has been a potential discovery for the cure of cancer. I've seen that so many times on social media. And then I don't see anything else about it. And I don't know about you guys. I don't know how many of you are on social media. I don't know what platforms you use or what platforms you're on, but I do know that Instagram, if you talk about something, or if you click on it, or if you like it, or if you spend too much time looking at it, Instagram will be like, up. She likes this post. He likes this post. We will show it to them again and again and again and again. Yet you don't ever see it again. The posts that talk about the cure for cancer, the posts that talk about the cure for HIV/AIDS. These posts, they're not as consistent as a slew of other things. I don't want to get too deep into exactly what I'm trying to say, so what I'll do is I'll go a little bit further. We're going to talk about a few people that have disappeared after claiming to find the cure for cancer. Dr. Sebi is one of them. His story goes pretty deep, but essentially he was arrested after claiming to have found the cure for cancer and HIV/AIDS. And while his arrest is not tied to finding the cure for these diseases, the arrest is tied to a completely different issue. And I don't want to ignore that or pretend that he was a saint. But while he was in custody, he developed an illness and passed away. Now, in every circumstance, it is always stressed that human rights need to be preserved no matter what. So if you are in custody and you are sick, you are still legally supposed to receive care and treatment. I wasn't there, okay? Clearly. So yes, there are a number of things that we can take into consideration here, but I'm not going to ignore that this is a part of the example. This is a part of the point that I'm trying to make. So while Dr. Sebi was one of the individuals who had a slew of teachings tied to curing cancer and HIV, and that, or those teachings, were associated with maintaining a more alkaline diet, drinking alkaline water, there is another individual, I don't remember all of these individuals' names. Sorry, so I have to look off of my research sheet so that I make sure that I am portraying the information correctly. Dr. Nicholas Gonzalez, a doctor who promoted an alternative cancer treatment involving diet and supplements. He all of a sudden passed away suddenly in 2015 due to a reported heart attack, which a number of people found to be suspicious. Dr. Jeffrey Bradstreet, a physician known for controversial autism and cancer treatments, he was found dead in 2015 from a gunshot wound to the chest. It was ruled out as suicide. Renee Casey, or Case, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, a Canadian nurse known for promoting Essiac tea as an alternative for cancer treatment. It is widely known for treating cancer, for attacking cancer. So while this individual did not disappear, she received massive amounts of backlash, from the medical community. Massive amounts. What I discovered was this scientist who found this way or treatment to reverse cancer cells back to normal cells. And while I'd like to get excited, while I'd like to look deeper into that and get more information, the history, the track record of people saying that they've discovered cures, it doesn't look good. I remembered several months ago when a young African-American individual was posted, and the caption was that he had potentially found the cure to cancer. And the comment section was full of aunties and moms saying, protect this kid at all costs. It's not news. It's not strange. We have brains. We're going to get concerned. We're going to pick up on what is potentially going on. So my question now is, why? Why are we potentially, deliberately trying to suppress the cure for some of these diseases? Do we think it has anything to do with Big Pharma? Do we think it has anything to do with a different side of healthcare? I don't know if you guys remembered, but there was this documentary on Netflix that, I don't remember the name of it, but it essentially shed light on the fish market and that it's a war zone. It's not as simple as catching fish and selling it, or in our minds, it's a simple, I've got 500 fish that I caught in the Atlantic. I'd like to sell it to these chains of grocery stores. Whatever. All of what I'm saying might not make any sense at all. But the point that I'm trying to make is things were a lot less simple than what we thought in terms of getting fish into the supermarket. It is a separate sort of mafia of its own. I wish I remembered the name of it. I'm sure that if we Googled documentary on fish, it'll immediately come up. Moral of the story, there are so many things to each industry that we are completely unaware of, and I do believe that the healthcare industry is one of those industries. I've seen some really interesting things. I tell a lot of crazy stories on here. A lot of crazy stories on here. I didn't enunciate that word. It made me uncomfortable. But there are certain stories that I deliberately choose not to tell, and it's because they're touchy topics. I believe this is a touchy topic. And I just have to find a creative and professional way to come on here and share exactly how I feel about some of the things that I saw. Some of the things that I've heard. You know, there are people that search for conversations that I'd like to have for the sole purpose of shutting them down, suppressing them, and preventing them from getting further and being heard and discussed. Just like in Hollywood, there's PR. There's PR everywhere for a reason. People get really creative with making sure certain things stay hush-hush. And so I cannot help but wonder about these individuals who have disappeared after claiming to have found the cure for certain things that have been around for a very long time. Meanwhile, healthcare continues to advance. The United States of America has one of the top healthcare systems in the world. One of the top healthcare systems in the world. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Please leave some comments. Let me know what you think. And stay tuned for my next episode, which is where we will be discussing the difference between the cost of healthcare in the UK versus the cost of healthcare in the US. The approach to healthcare is almost identical, but the cost is vastly different. I'd love to chit-chat about that in my next podcast episode. Thanks for tuning in. I was trying to sit in an awkward way that would prevent the glare from doing too much, like now. With that being said, thanks to everybody who has showed support with the purchasing of my comic book and the merch that I listed on my website. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. I have an event coming up in Burbank on March 18th and 19th. It is called the FEM Conference. It's a women's empowerment conference where I will be selling my comic books. I will be signing comic books. I'll be giving away little trinkets and baggies. So it'll be a gifting suite and a book signing event. And I'm really excited about it. I will post details, but keep visiting my website. Keep telling people about my comic book, my book of poetry, my romance mystery, and Zyla, my sexy storytelling podcast. Thanks, guys. I appreciate your support. Let me know what you think in the comments.